All right, with receivers coach. Go ahead. Here. Private meeting with the man that met the legend. It's Jason Corrier stepping in on an interview with one of the greatest speaking guys at Marshall football right now, Mike Furrey.
Just when they go to tell them, I'll tell them they haven't played yet either. Tell them that's all good and dandy, but they haven't played one game yet.
That's all right. So now, Coach Furrey.
Voice back.
Yeah, you got to say you got the voice back.
It's been a couple of days here. We didn't have to. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Either I'm fed up with stuff, or I get to teach instead of scream. So it's kind of 50-50.
Well, a lot of guys I want to talk to you about, as Coach Holliday said, this is probably one of the best receiving groups he's seen here at Marshall. Obviously, you start with Tommy Schuler and you go downward from there. But, I mean, top to bottom, there's 11 receivers, 12 receivers on this roster, and 8 or 9 of these guys could possibly step in and give you some type of effort this season. How hard is it going to be when you go down to start trying to trim back guys that may have to sit out a year with a red shirt, but any other year probably would be starting?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be. I don't think it's going to be as tough as you think it will be. I think when it all comes down to it, you're going to have. You need to have a reliable guy that can run great routes, get open, and catch the football. I mean, it's kind of simple to some extent. The problem is in the game, especially at that position, guys can't slow the game down. The depths start becoming short. The depths become too long. They run the wrong routes. They don't catch the football consistently. All those. I call these guys, when I'm talking to my guys, those are our elements right now. And the guy who has all the elements is creating production by the time we get out of camp, hopefully by next week, to give us 2 weeks to start prepping with scout teams, getting ready for Miami. I think we'll have a good idea figured out that hopefully that we'll be able to go in with a couple inside guys, 1 extra guy, 2 extra guys to help Tommy out, help our special teams out, and then hopefully have at least 1 or 2 guys that are just dominant outside wide receivers going into the Miami game, with guys that can come in and give them some balance and give them some rest, but yet also go out and produce. So we're still waiting on those guys. I mean, it looks great on paper. Their sizes look great. Their speed looks great when you come out here and run. Routes on air, they look phenomenal. But the question is, what are you going to look like in scrimmages? I don't think we performed really well yesterday in the scrimmage. It could be anything from camp legs to whatnot, but I just don't understand that. You're playing, you're producing, you got an opportunity to go out here and show your production, and I wasn't real satisfied with really kind of our intent yesterday. And so it's going to make or break some people coming up this week. I think there'll be some guys that we can get to 5 or 6 guys by the time we start Miami. Maybe the 7th, 8th, 9th guy might be kind of hard to figure out, and then it's going to come down to special teams. But right now our goal is to get 5 or 6 guys that we can rely on to go in and say, hey, here's what we're doing. And if it's important to you and you're producing, you'll separate yourself.
One of the guys that's has seemingly stepped up this season, especially in the spring, and he's carried it over seemingly here in the fall, it's Devontae Allen. An outside threat, something this team really needs, and that's something that through camp so far he's hooked up with Cato on several occasions and has shown that he can be reliable. How big is it for him to really step up this season and give you an outside threat that Cato can go to?
I mean, obviously the kid's got the talent is obviously, it's evident. I mean, he's got it. But Devontae's got to show up and play consistently. I think, his biggest downfall is, you need to come out here every single day and focus in on every single rep and get better and expect to win. And when something goes bad, we don't start over. We keep grinding, we line up again and we go back and make the next play, and then, the bad play's over. Can he do that? That's what we're still waiting on. We won't really know that probably until we get into the season. Obviously, we're really excited, and we're expecting, him to be able to do that. And he's been around long enough, so you think he should do that. But I think, like you said, he's had a great spring. He's had a great summer. He's showing things that he hasn't shown before, and he's real comfortable. And we just got to make sure get him to get over the hill of saying, "Hey, I'm the guy. I'm the guy." And then we need another one. And so hopefully we'll have that by the Miami game.
3 guys coming into camp this year as unknowns, 2 true freshmen, the other in Angelo Jean Lewis. You look at Heilig, Foster, and Gator Green. those three guys all have potential of really contributing on the field, but as you said, it's the consistent factor of stepping up and being able to do that day in and day out. How much have they shown to you so far of what their potential really is, especially with who they would be playing behind all season?
Right, and that's the thing we're talking about. I've told every guy, we have 12 guys that have potential. I don't care less about your potential. I want to see your production. And they all have, a lot of them have unbelievable potential. And it's really frustrating when you come in here and you kind of have the ego because of what your potential could be. And you better come in and produce. And that's what we're trying to get to these guys' brains. Hey, you need to come in every single day and compete and be productive. Don't run wrong routes. Don't drop balls. Don't get big star-eyed because we're in a scrimmage. If you want to play, and if you want to play this year, let's see how productive you're going to be during our scrimmages and in our practices. And not against, the latter part of the groups, but let's see what you're going to do when Swag and CT are in there. Let's see what you're going to do when the ones are in there, our safeties. And that's going to tell us a lot. And these guys got another week of that to prove themselves. I think, if you look at our scrimmage yesterday, I would say both of them had an average day. They had the signs of their potential, but then they also looked like at times, wow, am I supposed to take 5 steps or 3 steps, And but it's exciting to have. Obviously with Angelo, they all three were highly, highly recruited athletes out of high school, great players in high school, and we just got to see if that's going to translate over. And we have to see which one gets that first. And obviously, you got to say with what they're capable of doing and what they're doing, if they produce, and we got to find a place for them to play. So it's pretty exciting right now, but a lot of potential and not a lot of production, and we got to get that moved.
So going into week number 2 of practice this week, is that really what you're looking for? Enough of the progress that they can possibly put up, let's start producing on the field.
That's all it is. That's what we want to see, because I feel when you have a quarterback like we have, when you have an offensive line that I think that our offensive line is unbelievable. You got that and a quarterback, and you have a running game with Rockback now. You're going to catch the footballs. We're going to move the chains. You just would think that that's what it should be like. And to be a wide receiver in this offense, if we're not producing, then we're not moving the ball as well as we should. And so right now it's just really about production.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you, buddy.